All right, y'all, let's get it. We got some BDL.
Yo, what's good? It's your boy B-Dell. I am back with some groundbreaking information. If you're new to this channel, hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. But today we're going to be breaking down the complexities of the esoteric infrastructure of the black nobility, who are black faces who hide behind the perception of the European power structure in the matrix system through eugenics programs, economic disenfranchisement, dehumanization, and Eurocentric theology that takes you away from your sovereign capacity as an indigenous person in the geographical landmass of America. So as I told you before, the unseen hand is the hidden hand, and the hidden hand is the black hand, and the black hand is the black nobility, right? So all throughout ancient history, all they did was a bait and switch. They did a bait and switch and gave you the false perception of Europeans being in power when really it's the black nobility who are black faces, right? So right here you're looking at Charles V was actually a swarthy man, right? So all they did was a reverse of frequency, right? Inverted knowledge, inverted history. So that's how you know you're living in a Luciferian system, because they give you the false perception of history that's acclimated to westernized psychology, when really everything is flipped around, because the people who are really in control are the black nobility, who are basically malevolent entities who came to this planet to throw off the indigenous people who are connected to the seeds of Enki, right? So this is Ferdinand. He was actually a so-called black man, right? Which is not a divine concept, because when you look at the coat of arms, this is the coat of arms of Germany, right? And we're going to get into the symbolism and everything as we get through with the video. So you also have the real Casanova, Giacomo Casanova, was a so-called black man. He wasn't a European, right? Then you got the real Napoleon, right? Who was a so-called black man. So the thing is, what you got to understand is, when you understand genealogy and microbiology, you will know that you get the recessive from the dominant. You don't get the dominant from the recessive. So that you have to understand that they got their concepts and ideologies of white supremacy from black people who was already on the planet way before them, because they wasn't created until 4086 BC, right? Then you got the real Napoleon, who was a so-called black man, right? They did a bait and switch. So the people behind the scenes are actually black people, but they give you the false perception of a European. So that's how they hide their hand.
You might want to get your notes, y'all. Get your pen, get your pads. Sit back and take notes. We in class right now.
To let you know that they're not in power, right? Because these people are basically connected to the seeds of the fallen angels, right? Then you got the real James Franco, who was connected to the Jacobite bloodline, right? So now when you look at the coat of arms, the so-called European names of the black people, when you look at the coat of arms and things of that nature, you see that these are black figures who are blackamoors, right? These are the blackamoors who stole your birthright, right? These are the blackamoors who stole your birthright. And then you have, where's his name at? This person that you're looking at right now, he is actually the founder of the Knights of Columbus, right? And the Knights of Columbus is also acclimated to the Freemasonic order through monotheistic religion, right? So, because I told you the church and the state is not separate,
Yeah.
because they implemented all these secret societies through the Inquisition that was connected to the Pope. So yeah, Michael Joseph McGivens, right? He's the ones who created the Knights of Columbus. So this is where you get your concepts of the KKK comes from, right? So like I said, all throughout ancient history, they gave you the false perception of the Europeans being in power, when really it's the black nobility, who are blackamoors who stole the birthrights of the people in the geographical landmass of America, because we are basically the seeds of Inky. Because you got to understand the inception point, how everything started. You got the seed of Inky, then you got the seed of Enlil. The seed of Enlil is the jealous god of the Bible, right? The seeds of Inky are the ones who are indigenous in the geographical landmass all around the planet, right? So now when you look at this, the coat of arms, this shield right here, right? That is a black nobility sign. That is a black nobility sign. Hold on, let me get my stuff there.
Now, I want to hear in the comments section, tell the truth, man. I know there's going to be some lying ass, bot ass, NPC ass niggas. You know what I'm saying? All in the comments section just lying. But just comment down below if anybody did any research on the black nobility. You know what I'm saying? The black nobility, the Jesuits, all this, Illuminati stuff. You know what I'm saying? Comment down below. And also comment down below, what do you know about the black nobility?
So like I said, that is a black nobility sign. And these are the inception points of where the sheriff is, because the people who engineered and orchestrated that concept and that ideology, the first slave catchers were actually the Blackamoors, because they are the ones who galvanized the Slavics, right? And the Slavic is a Russian. So the first slave catchers were actually Blackamoors. That's why, a sheriff, a sheriff, is connected to the matriarchal energy, which is galvanized by a republic, right? And then, like I said, this is Princess Margaret. You see the pendant on her left shoulder. It is a Blackamoor, because they have to show veneration of who's actually in power, right? And then you got another person right here, and I think his name was Charles V, right? He was actually a so-called swarthy black man, right? So this is how they hide their hand. They give you the European, and they had the so-called black person, right? So now we're going to get into some theological context, because all this is basically prophetic, right?
So it sounded to me, basically, he's saying the white man just wrote himself into history. That's all, basically. As they always do.
When you go to the Els Holy Injil, which is basically a transliteration of the book of Revelation, and you go to Revelation 17:17, right? It says verbatim that the evil reptilian that is going to give their kingdom to the beast. Now, who is the beast, right? The beast is basically the personification of the Canaanite bloodline who was cursed with leprosy. And these are also connected to the Pflugerod bloodline, who have 6 ethergenetical properties that has the same DNA sequence as animals, right? So that's why I said, like, the beast is basically a personification of the cursed bloodline. The evil reptilian is the personification of the black nobility, who are connected to the jealous god Enlil, right? The 200 fallen angels. Because the 200 fallen angels, when you understand the inception point, the great majority of these beings were draconian reptilians, right? So that's why, then when you go to...
Wake up, y'all. I don't want none of y'all falling asleep back there. Wake your punk ass up. B-Dale's dropping heat right now. You need to be taking notes. Your pastor, T.D. Jakes, and Creflo Dollar ain't gonna give you this information. But you can get it from B-Dale on DB Gangstar Simulation Player.
Let me find it. Because it's a Bible scripture.
The black nobility. You don't get this in school.
It's a Bible scripture that says that the dragon gave the power to the beast.
There's
the dragon,
some revelations.
Draconian are basically one and the same, right? So like I said, the black nobility is pretty much, anybody who's, acclimated to the illusion, as far as, the propagation of monotheistic religion that's connected to Freemasonry, anybody who's basically in these secret societies, people who are your celebrities,
Your gang
your public
stalkers.
figures. All these people are being controlled by the Knights of Order, and the Knights of Order is connected to the CIA, and the CIA is galvanized by the Vatican popes of Rome, the dark priesthood, right? So that's why you got, the great majority of these pastors and these public figures, they get 501c3s, which is
Wow.
basically a skull and bones charter, right?
Wow.
A skull and bones charter, which is connected to the secret societies,
Oh,
right?
Lord.
So
Lord.
now, when you're talking about these secret societies, you are talking about the Brotherhood of the Snake. And then you got the Brotherhood of the Dragon. As I told you, the dragon gave power to the beast. It says that in the book of Revelation, right? And then you got the Knights of the KKK. And I told you, a so-called black person, a blackamoor, who is basically the one who created the KKK through the Knights of Columbus. Then you got the Order of the Luciferians. Then you got the Satanic Order. Then you got the Open Friendly Secret Society of the Dark Priesthood of the Vatican Church. And then you got the Otzi Party. And then you got the Jason Society, right? And then you got the Illuminati, the Bavarian Illuminati. And then you got the Secrets of Ages. Then you got the Guardians, the Millennium. Then you got the Skull and Bones that's connected to the 501c3. And then you got the Demolay Society, the Order of the Quest, the Jesuits, the Rascaharians. And then you got the Astaria Order. Then you got the Scroll and the Key, the Odd Fellows, the Order of Zion. And then you got the Serpent Robe, which is basically the Red Serpent. So that's why when you look at the coat of arms of Prince Charles, you got to look at that 7-year tribulation video that I put out. The coat of arms on Prince Charles is basically a red dragon. And the red dragon is connected to the seeds of Enlil, who is the jealous God of the Bible, who is your so-called Luciferian Antichrist.
And see, in this jealous God I keep telling y'all about, y'all still caught up worshiping this jealous God, and you still waiting on this jealous God to come and get you out the gang stalk assimilation. Why would the jealous God get you out the gang stalk assimilation when his ass put you in the gang stalk assimilation? That don't make no damn sense. You know what I'm saying? You got to wake up and realize you've been duped. You've been worshiping a false God all this time. You know what I'm saying? Be a big boy, be a big girl, wipe your tears, pull your pants up, do what Aaliyah said. We're going to dust ourselves off. We're going to try this shit again. Get out of your feelings. Get out of your emotions. That's what's wrong with y'all people. Y'all too emotional. You know what I'm saying? Let's fuck with logic and put emotions to the side. You were wrong. We all was fucking wrong. Let's move on. You know what I'm saying? People don't want to, people, I want to hold on to this because my mom and my grandmom and my great-grandmother, we got to let this shit go. This is what been holding us back for the longest anyway. This fucking mind control. All this shit is mind control. You know what I'm saying? Why are you going to continue to give your energy to this beastly God that's keeping you trapped in the gang stalk assimilation to begin with?
Now, these are just some of the Christian secret societies that the average Christian has no knowledge of, right? And the Christian ministers, such as the pastors, the reverends, the deacons, and things of that nature, they don't have knowledge of everything because they've been deceived by the European who is being controlled by the black nobility.
Well,
right?
Preach.
So, but like I said, now, because I told you, the Canaanite bloodline, right? So when you understand the inception point of the beast, right? When you go right here, it says that Yaqub's albinoids ruled the earth for 6,000 years and spreading devilishment, evil, pain, and suffering in oppression to the Ebenoid people of the earth, basically designed and genetically spliced by the big head scientist Yaqub, right? So that's how you know their inception point. So like I told you, it's connected to prophecy because you get a transliteration of the book of Revelations. It says that the evil reptilian gave power to the beast, right? To have, dominion. I don't know what happened there, but it kind of paused up on me. But to have dominion over the indigenous people in the geographical landmass of America, right? So this is why they want you to be Christians, because when you go to the G3526 Strong Concordance verbatim, Christian translates to black. Black takes you away from your sovereign capacity, right? So like I said, then when you go, right, it translates to black. Black takes you away from your sovereign capacity, right? So like I said, then when you look at this, it says that Babylon, as you know it today, will cease to exist. It will not be heard after your businessmen, your politicians, your celebrities, superstars, preachers, pastors, witches, and warlocks, who are basically the heads of planet Earth, who are basically deceiving all nations and people by tricking them into worshiping Zuin, the evil reptilian, called the devil, Satan, Diablos, High Satan, which are basically many different nomenclature titles when you're talking about Tarnush, right? So, also, the black nobility is also galvanized by the triad, which is the Jesuit order, the Irish, and the Italians. And the Italians is connected to the Jesuit order, which is the Buffalino family, who control Jay-Z and many other celebrities. And that's how they control their power, because they give you these celebrities to keep everything in control. And these celebrities are basically connected to the Boule, and the Boule is controlled by the European, and the European is controlled by the black nobility. That's the order of the power, right? So yeah, the devil has set up a coven. What is a coven? A covenant, right? And a covenant, which is when you go to these British charters and things of that nature, a brief and a covenant is basically one and the same, and it's basically a pact and a contract with the devil, right? Which is the satanic powers who was galvanized by the black nobility in all these secret societies, right? So it says right here verbatim that Mary represents the paganistic satanic religion which upholds Christianity, right? But in order, Christianity basically falsifies the Trinity concept. They use Nimrod, the great Nubian king of Babylon, and his mother, Semiramis, who he married. Everywhere are statues appeared of Semiramis holding little Nimrod. She is accepted as the queen of heaven, Ashtar. This is the mother and the child idol of the Black Madonna, basically. So when you go, that's why when you go inside the Vatican, you see the Black Madonna. And the Black Madonna, her symbol became the moon. Nimrod and her husband and son became known as Baal, which is the sun god, the symbol of the sun. So now this is where I'm going to take you, because that's connected to Enlil, right? The jealous god. So now when you go to Baal, Baal,
the jealous. As soon as you hear that word, you know damn well you won't fuck with nobody jealous. You won't fuck with nobody jealous, but you want to fuck with a jealous god.
When you got the Balenciaga, because it's connected to child sacrificing. When you look at this picture right here, right? So that's why Balenciaga was getting canceled, because it was doing stuff, rituals and stuff with the kids. Because that's what the black nobility do. They need the energy and the frequency of children in order to maintain their power on this planet through rituals. So Baal, which is
and see, that's why I say this world it sucks. Because if this is what we got to do, you mean to tell me that this human trap. You know what I'm talking about? You mean to tell me that this shit has to continue in order to keep this energy going? Since these blood sucking people, these vampiric vampires that's in the shadows, they need this energy. They need this adrenochrome, so they got to continue to have. So in other words, it ain't gonna ever be no such thing as people not being missing. You always going to see it on a milk carton, somebody missing, or on the newspaper, somebody missing. Somebody's gonna always be missing. Even though we got all this technology, we got all these satellites, we got all these cameras everywhere in all the cities in the neighborhood, whatever. They can see you right now, right where you standing or sitting. If you're on the toilet, they can see you right now. But we can't find Jimmy. We can't find Stephanie. We can't find little Tay Tay. You see what I'm saying? Ray. You see what I'm saying? This is all bullshit. They've been lying to the people forever. They're gonna continue to lie. Ain't nobody missing. They're taking people, and this is what they're doing. They're sacrificing people for rituals to give to these demigods. They're sacrificing people to give this energy over to this demigod, this demiurge, this jealous god that you continue to worship, and you're giving your energy over there too by you worshiping his ass. You know what I'm saying? So stop giving your energy over to this demigod, this jealous god, and get your mind right.
Who is also Enlil is the ancient god worshipped by the civilizations, right? And he is basically the supreme worship in the ancient Canaan. I told you the Canaanites is the curse.
So I'm gonna stop it right here because it's getting kind of long. I want to keep going. I'm gonna keep going. This is a long video he got. Might do a part 2. If you want to continue to hear this, man, let me know. Comment down below, man. Might be a part 2 of this. Holla back, y'all.